doing SCP anomalous items 551 through 600. Item description: a 5-tasseled dream collector constructed from an ash wood frame and beads, flax twine, and barred owl feathers. When affixed to the wall of a room, all sleeping occupants will fail to enter stages of rapid eye movement or express periodic limb movement disorder or restless leg syndrome. Date of recovery: 7/31/2020. Location of recovery: a bedroom in rural blank, California. Current status: in Site 77 Onerology Studies Storage. Item description: a small plastic sword exactly 10 inches long with a plastic handle. When held, an entity resembling King Arthur will manifest exactly 5 feet away from the individual who holds the object in question. Date of recovery: 15/02/2020. Location of recovery: blank, England. Current status: in Site 19 Unknown or Unexplained Object Storage. Item description: a collection of kitchen equipment. Set includes pans, pots, cutlery, rolling pins, tongs, etc. Any person within a 4-meter radius of the set will change visual perspective to that of a bird's eye view of the kitchen, a la tasty instruction videos. Anomaly appears to follow majority of set. Removing a single piece from the set does not bring the anomalous effect with said single piece. Effect wears off when walking away from set. No adverse effects to user besides mild disorientation. Outside observers have noted no change in behavior or physicality of users when interacting with the set. Date of recovery: 14/07/2018. Location of recovery: blank Bistro, Nashville, Tennessee. Current status: in Site 47 Kitchen. Item description: a blank brand portable music player. Initials GJ inscribed on the back in permanent black marker. If used to play any MP3 file containing a piece of music, the device will make demeaning remarks about the user's music taste in an unidentified male voice with a smug tone upon the conclusion of the piece, or whenever it is paused by the user. If any attempt is made to play a file in a lossless format, the device will fail to play the file, with the same voice proceeding to go on a long, expletive-filled rant scolding the user for being a pretentious audio file in a noticeably angry tone. Recorded rant lengths range from 5 minutes to 6.5 hours. No anomalous effects will manifest if used to play an MP3 file containing anything other than music. Date of recovery: 25/08/2019. Location of recovery: used electronics store in Laredo, Texas. Purchased by Dr. Fernan, prompting the discovery of its anomalous effects. Current status: in Dr. Fernand's office. Scratched. In Site 38 Standard Item Containment. Note: at first I was happy to have a new MP3 player, but the damn thing was driving me crazy. Dr. Fernand. Item description: a brown leather wallet that holds 1 penny. If the penny is removed from the wallet for more than 2 minutes, it will teleport back into the wallet. All other currency placed in the wallet is unaffected, including other pennies. Date of recovery: 8/10/2020. Location of recovery: found on the body of Agent blank, who was killed while containing SCP blank. Current status: placed in light containment at Site 73. A memorial to Agent blank has been installed in the break room at Site 73. Item description: the corpse of a brown rat with a pair of wings attached to its back. The wings have DNA similar to that of a European herring gull, but are completely vestigial, containing nothing but skin and fat. The wings are completely naturally attached to the body, but a beak, also similar to that of a herring gull, has been attached to its snout via superglue. A note tagged by a string around the carcass's tail reads, "Rat with wings." Date of recovery: 08/13/2020. Location of recovery: basement of an abandoned house in blank. Current status, placed in cryogenic storage at site blank. Item description, a copper doorknob that, when placed against any vertical surface, forms a 6-foot 8-inch door in the wall. When removed, the anomalous door dissipates. If the door is open when the item is removed, the part of the wall making up the door will remove itself from the wall it was once part of. Interesting. Date of recovery, 03/14/1993. Location of recovery, found in possession of D blank when attempting to escape from site blank. Current status, in storage. That seems like maybe it deserves an SCP classification, frankly. Item description, a drinking glass that automatically refills with what appears to be water, but is actually dog urine. Awesome. Date of recovery, 12/21/2019. Location of recovery, confiscated from junior researcher bar in cafeteria of site blank, where he was apparently attempting to use it for a prank. Bar has been severely reprimanded. Current status, in storage. Item description, a virtual reality gaming headset of independent make with one video game pre-installed and no possibility of importing other games. While the item is placed on a person's head and turned on, the subject is unable to vocalize voluntarily and is forced to intermittently vocalize a number of different phrases and exclamations shared by all subjects. The most common phrases include, "I'm gaming," "So this is immersion," and "I've never really lived before." These vocalizations gradually increase in enthusiasm and become less articulated, culminating in wordless screaming. Subjects have described the video game installed on the object as an endless dishwashing cutscene where you can look around. Date of recovery, 07/14/2019. Location of recovery, offices of blank, an independent game studio in Dallas, Texas. Owner and employees consistently claimed they'd made the most exciting game of all time, citing testers' reactions, and appeared to possess no knowledge of the item's anomalous properties or the game's nature. Current status, stored in a standard containment locker at Site 129. Item description. Explain how this 2000s HSC English Advanced Common Module paper causes the writer to write any information about it in the form of a short answer question. 2 marks. Date of recovery. What occurred on the day of 12/11/2019? 1 mark. Location of recovery. Discuss the effectiveness of the Foundation's method of recovery of this 2000s HSC English Advanced Common Module paper from the NSW Edition Standards database. 3 marks. Current status. Evaluate how effective the containment of this 2000s HSC English Advanced Common Module paper is in a filing cabinet in site blank, whilst also replacing the paper on the NSW Education Standards website with a non-anomalous version of the paper. Include examples of other containment procedures of similar objects. 4 marks. Anomalous items 561 through 570. Item description. A ticket, front row, slightly left of center, for a concert in Redacted, Oregon, occurring on September 3rd, 2020. The band mentioned on the ticket, a small local group, was not playing in any location on that date. In fact, there was no concert taking place in town on that date. Despite this fact, those viewing the ticket often mention vague memories of the concert, often sharing interesting stories if multiple people view the item simultaneously. Date of recovery, 9/9/2020. Location of recovery, found on a bench at a bus stop in Portland, Oregon. Current status, being tested in hopes of piecing together a coherent account of the non-existent event. Interesting. Item description. A spherical object that 50% of humans perceive as a bowling ball and the other 50% perceive as a red rubber dodgeball. When interacted with, the object takes on the physical properties of whichever type of ball the subject perceives it as until it is touched by another subject. Date of recovery, blank, blank, 2009. Location of recovery, blank, Virginia. Current status, punctured during a test, remains placed in storage. Note, I wish I was one of those who saw it as a bowling ball. I'm told that it looks cool in a deflated shape. Dr. Norms. Item description. A washing machine that, when used, will cause all clothing items inside of it to vanish and be replaced with a single unmatched sock. Date of recovery, 06/02/2014. Location of recovery, a laundromat in blank, Colorado. Current status, in storage at Site 17. Note, okay, which of you pranksters thought it would be funny to move this to the Botany Wing's laundry room? Researcher Aurora. Item description. Cotton t-shirt, medium size, plain white coloration, with a cartoon drawing of a beehive on the front. No tag or identifying information is visible, nor can signs of removal of a tag be found. When worn, causes the wearer to sneeze at random intervals between 5 minutes and 9 hours. Each sneeze produces between 3 and 17 live western honeybees. Bees produced in this fashion are not aggressive and are generally described as confused. They display no anomalous properties. Date of recovery, 14/9/2020. Location of recovery, abandoned on a park bench in Cincinnati, Ohio. Current status, in testing. Item description, a black leather jacket and shades that, when worn in conjunction, will raise the wearer's confidence drastically. Several individuals who have worn the jacket have claimed that it made them feel cool and confident. Date of recovery, 05/07/2012. Location of recovery, blank supermarket, Arkansas, United States. Current status, kept within Site 473's psychiatrist office, available to site staff upon request. Item description, broomstick similar to those seen in popular media related to witches, generally around Halloween. Despite its aged appearance, testing has revealed that the item was commercially made within the last 5 years. When a human subject attempts to ride the broom in the manner witches are generally depicted doing, the broom will allow the subject to fly, admittedly at relatively low speed. 20 miles per hour is the observed maximum. That sounds awesome. That would, oh my gosh, that would save you so much time getting places, especially since you can go as the crow flies and not have to drive along like prescribed roads. That's fantastic. Date of recovery, 31/10/2018. Location of recovery, redacted, Columbus, Ohio, United States. Current status, in low-value item storage. Item description, a plush resembling a stingray, made by the Wildlife Tree brand. Item acts as a living stingray, but does not breathe, eat, blink, or sleep. Item uses its pectoral and pelvic fins to propel itself through water. When removed from water, item will begin to flop around, appearing to suffocate. Date of recovery, 2/10/2020. Location of recovery, New England Aquarium. Current status, in aquatic wildlife containment at Site 24. Note, you guys forgot to mention that I've taught the lad a few tricks. Dr. Brine. Item description, a pair of black Bluetooth blank brand headphones that, when worn, prevent the wearer from hearing anything other than the audio coming from them, if any is playing. Headphones do not appear to run out of battery, and any connected devices will display them as having 100% battery. That's awesome. Date of recovery, 5/12/2017. Location of recovery, a Best Buy in blank, Tennessee. Current status, in possession of researcher Cook to assist with her sensory processing disorder. Note, please stop connecting my headphones to your phones to play loud, bass-boosted music. It wasn't funny the first time, and it's not funny now. Researcher Cook. Item description, a 2-slice toaster. Markings indicate it was manufactured by Warren Wilson's Kitchen Technologies. However, no such company is known to exist. When the toaster is used to toast bread, scratched, any baked goods, considerable time dilation is experienced by the user. The amount of time dilation is variable, but testing has concluded that each second in baseline time corresponds to between 5 and 10 minutes under the item's effect. Only the person who pushed the lever down experiences the time dilation. If multiple people cooperate to push down the lever, all of them will experience the anomalous effect. Date of recovery, 10/10/2020. Location of recovery, employee break room on the back of a small locally owned bookstore, Avalon, California. Current status, in employee break room at site blank, for use by all personnel. Note, this thing is great when you have a lot of paperwork to catch up on. Junior researcher Alexander. Item description, 144, scratched. 138, scratched. 100 containers of strawberries that have the flavor of peaches. Inside of the strawberries is light orange colored instead of the standard pink, though the outside is unchanged. Date of recovery, 10/13/2020. Location of recovery, a grocery store in blank, Mexico. Current status, 38 containers sent out to site blank for consumption, remaining containers in cold storage. Note, can we find a way to get more of these? They taste amazing. Dr. Jones. Anomalous items 571 through 580. Item description, a vinyl copy of Amnesiac 2001 by the British art rock band Radiohead. Listening to the record in full causes one to forget the existence of the album, believing that Radiohead has only released 8 albums. Date of recovery, 2/9/2002. Location of recovery, Winnemucca, Idaho, USA. Current status, contained at Foundation Site 64. Item description, a DVD copy of the 1997 film Good Will Hunting in its original case. If the film is viewed to the end of the bench scene, in which the character of Robin Williams gives a long speech, all viewers will be able to recite the speech verbatim if prompted, despite any pre-existing difficulties with memory. Viewers who are incapable of speech or do not speak English are unaffected. Date of recovery, 10/2/2020. Location of recovery, blank media store in Indianapolis, Indiana. Current status, in the employee break room at site blank, with other low-level anomalous media. Item description, a blank brand leaf blower that sucks instead of blows. All other objects are blown away as expected. Location of leaves sucked are unknown and seem to disappear once leaves reach the end of the nozzle. Date of recovery, 27/10/2019. Location of recovery, a local groundskeeping company in blank, Georgia. Current status, in site blank janitorial closet for use by cleaning staff, scratched. In storage after a falling twig with a leaf still attached was sucked up, scratched. Fixed after researcher Daniel Ham pulled the twig out. Note, I didn't think that would actually work. Researcher Daniel Ham. Item description, redacted brand bagless upright vacuum cleaner. Operates as expected, only the container where the debris is deposited never becomes full, despite prolonged or heavy use. Testing has revealed the container's internal dimensions are far larger than its external dimensions. The maximum capacity has not been discovered, but it is believed to be in excess of blank cubic meters. Date of recovery, 2010/2020. Location of recovery, warehouse believed to be used by Marshall, Carter, and Dark. Current status, being tested and observed for further anomalous effects. Note, documents recovered from the warehouse suggest that Marshall, Carter, and Dark were having difficulty finding a buyer for this item. That sounds like exactly the kind of thing they should be able to easily sell. That's ridiculous. Item description, a standard-sized blank brand toy car. When pushed forward, it keeps moving in a straight line on the same plane as the starting point, regardless of obstacles or missing surface on its path. When moving midair, the car will move as if affected by the friction of the last surface it contacted. If the trajectory ends midair, the car will fall only after reaching 0 speed. Date of recovery, 1/6/2003. Location of recovery, Room of Dr. Blank's son. Current status. Contained in a box full of gravel and sand in anomalous item storage. Note. Previously contained in a regular box. Containment method changed after visible frustration of researchers due to the object slipping under floor level when picked out for testing. Interesting. Item description. A standard 5.5 meter tall stepladder. That is very tall. I wouldn't consider that a stepladder. That's just a ladder. When an individual stands on the highest point of the ladder, a feeling of immense vertigo is experienced, and the user experiences a feeling of intense paranoia despite having no previous medical conditions. Date of recovery, 1706, blank. Location of recovery, blank, England. Current status, inside Site-19's low-level security storage. Notes. Researchers insisted on the object being laid out flat while being placed into storage. The researcher's request was approved, and the object in question was laid on top of a cupboard. Item description. A stepladder, 4 meters in height. If the bottom step is used, the user will perceive the length of the ladder to be infinite, with the surroundings appearing shrouded in mist. Date of recovery, 28/11/2015. Location of recovery, a construction market in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, United States. Current status, Site-19 storeroom. Notes. How many anomalous stepladders do we have at Site-19? Dr. Milton. Item description. A stepladder, 4.5 meters in height. When someone steps on it, the ladder will scream in pain before begging the person on using it to leave. After getting off the ladder, the subject will hear the screams of the ladder in their mind for 24 to 48 hours, along with the sound of a ladder falling every hour. Date of recovery, 12/11/2020. Location of recovery, a Marshall Carter and Dark storehouse in blank, Iowa. Due to paperwork found around the item, it appears that it was going to be sold to blank, a well-known member of the Serpent's Hand. Current status, Site-19 storeroom. Notes. Too many, Dr. Milton. Dr. O'Connor. Anomaly illustration. An interesting anomalous items. An intelligence artificial. Analysis is all in AI arrangement. Impossible acts in analysis is admonitory effects. Incorrectness acknowledged. Include Acinetobacter infection, arthritis, influenza, avian injury. Incorporation appoint. No, it hasn't. I wasn't on the roster. Hate you. Okay. All right. Incorporation appointment, 12/03/2013. International. Okay. Acquisition endpoint. In an international airport, Iowa, America. Influence at. In an intersite arm, Iowa, America. Just baffling. All right. Item description. A 1 meter by 1 meter mass of that's not. That doesn't make any sense. It should be a cubic. It should be a cubic amount, not a square amount. Ugh. All right. A 1 meter by 1 meter mass of lunar rock from the moon's southern pole. Non-anomalous except for the location of recovery. Date of recovery, 12/02/2003. Location of recovery, the moon. Current status, on the moon. Notes, I think something's gone wrong here. There's nothing anomalous about this, like, at all. It's just a bunch of moon rocks. I even checked the lunar surface records. It's still there. Can someone bring in Risa? Dr. K saw. Anomalous items 581 through 590. Item description. A human male whose appearance constitutes as a universal legal currency. Photos of the individual labeled with any amount, including nonsensical or irrational amounts, can be placed into banks, used to pay for goods and services, or converted into digital currency without suspicion. Date of recovery, 23/11/1988. Location of recovery, Sydney, Australia, after a family member used the anomaly to insert $750 million into their bank account. Current status, in a standard humanoid containment chamber, used by the Foundation as a source of emergency income. Item description. A printed picture of a house mouse that causes anyone who views it for more than 10 seconds to enter a state of panic and climb on the nearest piece of furniture. Viewer will recognize that it is just an image after about 2 minutes of watching the object. A speech bubble is drawn from the mouth of the mouse with the text reading, "Am I cool yet?" written in felt tip marker. No, you are not. Date of recovery, 11/07/2019. Location of recovery, found in a cafe in New York City, New York. Current status, on file in Site 87's archive wing. Item description. The body of a middle-aged Caucasian man with heavy augmentation of his body, including compound eyes similar to houseflies, wings similar to fly wings, and patches of skin similar to the exoskeleton of a horsefly. Symbols tied to a local Sarkic group can be found carved into the skin of the subject's chest, forehead, and back. Date of recovery, 07/23/2020. Location of recovery, basement of suburban home in blank, Georgia. Current status, in cryo storage at site blank. Item description. An empty glass Coca-Cola bottle that, when noticed by a person, will immediately cause them to blow atop the bottle to create a humming noise. Subjects who do this report mild stress relief. Date of recovery, 4/12/2019. Location of recovery, a New York City trash can. Current status, sanitized before being moved to site blank break room for use by staff. Note, are we sure this isn't just a regular bottle? Researcher Cook. Item description, a leather-backed yearbook with the inscription Class of 63, a year to remember, across the front cover. Inside are 220 grayscale photos of individuals who, in current records, have never existed. If examined thoroughly, they feel as if they know one or multiple of the persons depicted. Most senior quotes pertain to either inside jokes or quotes from movies that have not been produced, which the reader will comment on. Date of recovery, 11/22/2013. Location of recovery, Dallas City Hall's Records Departments. Current status, located in the psychiatric ward of site blank. Note, Robert, I know you spilled your coffee on page 81. Researcher Kent Nundrum. Note, piss off, you know I have a tremor. Dr. Robert Snake Oil. I'm worried this might pertain to the bodies in the water, which I do not recognize. Item description, a pink bar of soap that produces a mix of bright pink mist and pink soap bubbles when in contact with water. Mist mostly consists of water vapor, and the effect is similar in appearance to that of dry ice. Inhalation of the mist is reported to have extreme calming properties. Both the soap and mist have a bubblegum scent. Date of recovery, 12/14/2013. 2015. Location of recovery, blank, New Jersey. Current status, in storage. Item description, a physical print of a photograph of the British Admiral Louis Mountbatten during the Second World War. Whenever a person touches the part of the photo showing the Admiral's thighs and legs, that part of the photo will slowly turn black in around 1 to 2 minutes. After 5 or so minutes without human contact, the blackened portion will slowly return to its original grayscale coloring. It is known that Louis Mountbatten's assassination in 1979 almost severed his legs. Date of recovery, 25/06/2004. Location of recovery, blank, United Kingdom. Current status, in storage. That's my fault. Dang. All right. Item description, a stop sign that changes from its original octagonal form to a green circle with the text go, and a triangular yellow sign with weight on it. This change occurs once every hour, changing instantaneously and regardless of if it is being viewed or not. Date of recovery, 11/18/2020. Current status, item was recovered by UIU agents and is in custody of said GOI. Sign has been replaced with a non-anomalous stop sign. Item description, a stapler that reacts violently when touched, snapping at any subject that touches it. It snaps its jaws by slamming its handle hard enough to hop toward its assailant, but not enough to activate its true function. An audible barking sound is heard from the stapler when active. Date of recovery, 04/13/2017. Location of recovery, blank, France. Current status, in storage. Item description, a Newton's cradle with human eyes dangling by their optic nerve in place of the pendulums. The biotic matter does not decompose, and the item behaves as it would with its typical components. A weak mimetic effect compels observers in close proximity to play with it. DNA extracted from the tissues is generally similar, but not identical to that of Dr. Greaves. Date of recovery, 05/01/2019. Location of recovery, Dr. Greaves' office in Site 17. Current status, kept in Dr. Greaves' office at Site 17. Dr. Greaves under investigation. Note, helps me think. That's all you need to know. Dr. Greaves. Anomalous items 591 through 600. Item description, a 36-gallon saltwater aquarium with heavily America-themed contents. Said contents include 3 tasselfish, Chidodermis penicilligerus, whose coloration resembles the American flag, an unknown cnidarian that resembles the Statue of Liberty, down to the bioluminescent torch of tentacles, and a species of algae that distantly related to Palmaria palmata, whose fronds resemble parchment decorated with unintelligible yet ornate writing, possibly a reference to early American legal documents like the Constitution or Articles of Confederation. Contained organisms show signs of significant genetic modification. A small sticker on the lid advertises a company labeled Global Core Patriotic Pets and mentions other tank sets with Japanese, English, and Greek themes. Low priority investigations into Global Core Patriotic Pets and the remaining tank sets are underway. Date of recovery, 03/22/2015. Location of recovery, Tidal Palooza, an aquarium expo held in Boise, Idaho. Did not appear to belong to any listed attendants, with staff stating that it had appeared in an unrented space 2 hours after opening. Current status, on display in Dr. Braunmeyer's office. Item description, a German World War I litter mask type gas mask that poisons its users. When worn, the included filtering system anomalously creates chlorine atoms which covalently bond with Cl2. The airtight seal traps the bonded CO2 molecules within the atmosphere. Symptoms of use are consistent with exposure to chlorine gas. Anomaly directly conflicts with Dalton's atomic theory and the proposal that atoms cannot be created nor destroyed. Date of recovery 5/8/1932. Location of recovery historical ruins of a farm near Villers-Brexteneau, France. Historically, the location of the first and second battles of Villers-Brexteneau as a part of the German Spring Offensive during early 1918. The battles took place March 3rd. The battles took place from 30 March to 5 April 1918 and 24 April to 27 April 1918. Current status in storage. Good Lord, that was terrible. Just me reading it, not the thing itself. Item description. A standard basketball rack with 12 basketballs on it. The basketballs do not seem to deflate and cannot be damaged. The rack itself is likewise invincible. Whenever 12 people are in the same area as the rack, music will begin emanating from the rack itself, and each person will take a ball and proceed to perform the full song and dance number for the song Get Your Head in the Game from the Disney movie High School Musical. Lack of prior knowledge of the song or movie and lack of required skills have no effect on the performance. Date of recovery 3/7/2020. Location of recovery East High School in Salt Lake City, Utah. Current status in the Site 19 gymnasium for recreational purposes. The object has been clearly labeled to avoid being confused with the normal rack. Item description. An average-looking Anorixis americanus. When any human is within 3 feet of it, they will have the unstoppable compulsion to yell "toad" and will attempt to pet the entity. Date of recovery 2/5/2020. Location of recovery Dr. Field's personal residence. Current status it is kept at Site blank in Dr. Field's room. Additional notes. I don't see why they feel the need to write anything about my Boygert, but as long as I get to keep him, I could care less. Dr. Field. Weird. Item description. A storage box labeled Big Rabbit, containing a Flemish giant rabbit. Ornithologous Caniculus domesticus. When kept in the box, the rabbit is inanimate as though kept in a state of cryptobiosis. Testing indicates the animal is 17 years old. Date of recovery 11/1/2020. Location of recovery left behind by a former tenant in researcher Blank's new house in Spokane, Washington. Current status rabbit kept in box in storage. Item description. A CD containing 12 covers of Led Zeppelin's song Stairway to Heaven, recorded by musical artists Aborted, Cattle Decapitation, Cradle of Filth, Necrophagia, Cannibal Corpse, Rotting Christ, Dissection, Data Expunged, Dying Fetus, Deicide, Impaled Nazarene, and Neil Diamond. Both the disc and the disc case are unlabeled, save for the word stairs, written with a black Sharpie on the disc. All performances perfectly match the sound and style of the artist in question, as far as digital analysis and trained listeners can determine, despite the fact that, as far as is known, none were ever actually recorded. Date of recovery 12/4/2020. Location of recovery Vertical House Records in Huntsville, Alabama. Current status in Dr. Lee Roy Carlson's car. Additional notes. Hit me up and I'll burn you a copy. Dr. Lee Ray Carlson. Item description. A 52-card set of bicycle standard index playing cards that, when performing the pick a card, any card, style magic trick, always results in the chosen card being a 7.5 of spades, which otherwise does not appear in the deck. If the card is removed from the deck, The deck itself will still have all 52 cards, which should be impossible. Said card disappears after being placed back into the deck until the trick is performed again. If the card is not returned to the deck and the trick is performed again, it will create yet another 7.5 of spades. Date of recovery, 3/20 blank. Location of recovery, blank hotel and casino, Las Vegas, Nevada. Current status, in storage. Note, it was funny the first time. It was funny the second time. But now, I don't want to see another 7.5 of spades again. Please stop dropping these cards in my office. Dr. Laz. Item description. A pack of Cards Against Humanity, which consists of mainly political or controversial cards. When a game is played on the third round, an argument between all players will break out. Arguments typically last between 5 to 30 minutes, but may go on longer if a conclusion is not made. Date of recovery, 7/28 blank. Location of recovery, Wellington, Florida. Current status, in storage. In storage. I don't know what that was. Note, maybe arguments wouldn't happen so frequently if Karen doesn't keep participating in these tests. I am aware she is the one who conducts all the tests, but she keeps starting the arguments, and it's always something about blank or blank. Dr. Kyle. Note, a test with Dr. Kyle's suggestion is currently underway. Site director, blank. Note, please remind me to keep Karen in the tests. The arguments made by my fellow colleagues were extremely violent and rapidly went out of control. Don't think we'll need any more arguments about Mark Zuckerberg being a lizard overlord or not, because the clear answer is yes, and we do not need to inquire about it again. Dr. Kyle. Item description. A kneaded eraser that, when touching any paper material, causes it to spontaneously combust without damaging the paper itself. Anything in the vicinity of the paper is not protected. The two closest pencils to the object consistently begin pointing at it when not under direct observation. Date of recovery, 12/5/2020. Location of recovery, Grand Prairie, Texas. Current status, in Site-02's special containment lockers. Item description. Junior researcher Alexis Somerton, who has a brief, usually lasting no more than 20 seconds, attack of the hiccups whenever any word containing the letter Q is said aloud in her vicinity. It was initially believed to be a coincidence, but experimentation on the part of several colleagues has confirmed this effect to be anomalous, if harmless. Date of recovery, 12/8/2020. Location of recovery, Site-77. Current status, still employed at Site-77. Note, still not sure this belonged in this log, but she told me to write it up and put it here. Researcher Stevens. Alrighty. That will be where we call it for right now. I will see you all again next time, and feel free to subscribe to the channel if you really do want to see me do more of these. It's going to continue regardless, but then you'll get notifications when I post them at least. So, bye for now.